Well, it's about time. Do you know how long we've been waiting?
Yeah, they actually did it. Oblivion Remastered is very much real and looks so good that it has pulled me out of my unintentional retirement just to make this video. And thankfully, no, we no longer have to rely on leaks to hold together our sanity, as during the official reveal stream this morning, which they just announced yesterday, Bethesda not only shared everything about the remaster, which we'll be covering in this video, but they also shadow dropped the game. So yeah, you can play right now, no waiting. In fact, at the time of recording this video, there are currently over 150,000 people playing on Steam alone. That being said, if you happen to not be one of those people and you want to know what Oblivion Remastered has in store, we'll be going over everything, including the heavily remastered visuals, overhauled gameplay, new mechanics, additional DLC, and so much more. So without further ado, here is our first look at Oblivion Remastered. Alright, so what I find so magical about this remaster is that it's been primarily worked on by Virtuos Studios in Paris, known for co-developing games like Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, working with CD Projekt Red, and assisting with, a lot of other games and ports. And with them was a small team at Bethesda Game Studios overseeing the project. And among them were both developers that worked on the original release of Oblivion, as well as huge Oblivion fans. And I think it shows in just how much love seemingly went into this remaster, both in the obvious effort to keep it faithful while still giving the fans the remaster they deserve. And to accomplish this, they have used an absolute Frankenstein combination of Oblivion's Gamebryo engine as the brain, running all the world logic and gameplay, while using Unreal Engine 5 as the body, which they claim allowed them to achieve a familiar feel for the game, while at the same time unlocking the ability to utilize the entire graphical feature set of the latest version of Unreal Engine 5, something we'll get a little deeper into later in the video. But before we do, I'm sure there's some of you that just want to know the basics first, like what platform is it on, how much is it, and what content do you actually get when buying it. And well, Oblivion Remastered is available on Xbox Series, including Day 1 on Game Pass, PlayStation 5, and Steam. And it includes the entire base game with all the original DLC, including the expansions, and all for $50 USD. And while there is a deluxe edition of the game, it contains none of the original game content, but rather all new quests for unique Akatosh and Mehrunes Dagon armors, weapons, and horse armor sets, as well as the usual digital art book and soundtrack, all for a more standard game price of $60 USD, which, to be honest, considering I was fully expecting them to price the standard edition at a full $60, and in Nintendo's economy, it honestly seems like a pretty good deal for what you're getting. Which, before I go ahead and dive into the game upgrades, considering I cover a lot of mods and mod news here on the channel, I do want to note this game might not end up getting the same level of mod support as we've come to expect with previous Bethesda Game Studios games. And that is mainly due to the heavy use of Unreal Engine 5 as the renderer and the complexity that likely brings to developing and releasing mod tools. But if that does happen to change, whether it be official or modders finding a way, I'll be sure to make a dedicated video letting you all know that, hey, mods are a thing and they're actually getting pretty good. But for now, let's stick to the game, the exciting bits of Oblivion Remastered, because as mentioned before, they're utilizing the latest version of Unreal Engine 5, and with it, they have completely redesigned and handcrafted from scratch every single asset in the game, bringing modernized landscapes, all new character models, an advanced real-time lighting system, and a new lip sync technology that works across all races in Cyrodiil. What's even better about Oblivion Remastered is that it's not just the graphics that have been remastered, as they have completely overhauled several systems throughout the entire game, including completely remastered UI and UX, making the menus more user-friendly, while also giving them a more modern take on Oblivion's aesthetics, while the HUD, on the other hand, has seen a full redesign to bring it more in line with Skyrim, including the more clean design, more useful positioning, and the addition of a more immersive HUD system, meaning elements will now show when they're needed and hide when they're not. The leveling system has been reworked, something I think just about everyone will be happy to hear, and it's inspired by elements from both Oblivion and Skyrim's leveling system, so it's sort of the best of both worlds. Sprinting has been added, something that was apparently under a load of debate for those working on the project. And I myself am very happy that they decided on adding it. On top of that, the combat system has been overhauled with all new combat animations and the additions of several features missing from the original release, such as sound effects, visual effects, blood spatters, sparks, and even hit reactions. A proper third-person mode has been added, now behaving similar to the first-person mode, and anyone who has used the third person in the original Oblivion should know it isn't exactly what you would call usable for gameplay.
Wow, that third person is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life.
So this is a huge and desperately needed change. And lastly, for the big changes, they've also overhauled the audio with all new sounds, ambient effects, and newly recorded dialogue for all the different races you'll come across in Cyrodiil, make them sound more unique. Something they actually couldn't accomplish in the original due to file size limits. And yes, they did make sure to retain all the quirky dialogue you've come to expect from Oblivion.
Stop! You violated the law.
So while that's all the big things they showcased during the reveal event, there are some other cool little details and features I spotted in the reveal and in my own gameplay, such as the dramatically improved character creator, which, don't worry, you can still create some straight up abominations with that thing. There's also now item highlighting for objects you're hovering over while looting, which, believe me, makes looting a whole lot easier, especially in the dark. There's now loot pickup and object interact animations. There's an FOV slider for both first and third person, which is a must nowadays. There's the ability to disable the dialogue camera zoom in game settings, which while you might lose out on some of those memeable Oblivion moments, it's definitely a welcome optional addition. And then there's the Oblivion gates, which have a cool new little detail, and that being giving you a glimpse of what's on the other side. And I am plenty sure that there is a lot I have yet to spot or that I forgot to mention here in this video. So if there's anything in particular you appreciate from the remaster that's different from the original, or even things that they kept the same that you're happy about, be sure to share it down in the comments. What do you find charming? What makes it special for you? Now, one question I had, and maybe you had the same, is what does this mean for the original release of Oblivion? And as it stands right now, it seems to be nothing. You can still buy and play the original game in its original form on all platforms it was originally released for. And the fact that the original Oblivion hasn't gone anywhere is especially good news, as Skyblivion depends on owning a legal copy of both Skyrim Special Edition and Oblivion Game of the Year Deluxe on Steam, which I think now is probably a good time to acknowledge what the official Oblivion Remastered means for the future of Skyblivion. And again, the answer is nothing bad. The Skyblivion team has already put out a statement that they still intend on finishing and releasing the mod later this year. Not only that, but the entire Skyblivion team has been gifted copies of the Oblivion Remastered from Bethesda, which I found to be quite the nice gesture. On top of that though, Bethesda has once again gone out of their way to reassure the Skyblivion team that they have no intention of shutting down their project, despite there now being an official remaster that Bethesda could use as a reason to go after them. And while this may surprise some, it aligns with Bethesda's history of promoting Skyblivion during its development over the last several years. And honestly, all Skyblivion does is benefit Bethesda anyways, as it requires you to own 2 of their games. And Oblivion Remastered and Skyblivion offer 2 entirely different experiences and have their own pros and cons, which I'm sure I'll go over eventually someday. But for now, we just need to appreciate that Bethesda supports the modding community. They always have, and hopefully they always will, which is why, despite Oblivion Remastered not supporting mods today, I do think Bethesda will at least try to find a way to bring official mod tools for the game. It'll just come down to whether or not the technical hurdles are worth getting over, and if they have to clear up any conflicts there might be with Epic Games and their use of Unreal Engine. But of course, if that day does come, I will let you know. And well, that's everything for Oblivion Remastered today. I'll be saving my first impressions for tomorrow after I've had more time with the game. I let things sink in and I experienced, more than just the intro and Vilverin. I do want to bring up that the Oblivion Remastered being official and being out does open up the Oblivion gates for the future of Bethesda Game Studios. But we'll save those discussions for another day. Oblivion Remastered is calling my name. And to all of you revisiting Cyrodiil or experiencing it for the first time today, I hope you all enjoy your journey. I've missed you all, and I cannot wait to talk again soon. But that's it for this video. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, this is Apoqsi, signing off.